Okay, so this is our first class concerning the PTE exam. The first class, Dalia, is about the test overview. Absolutely, I'm going to explain all the general information about the exam. You have to know the forms, the modules, the questions you will be encountered in the final exam. Then we have to discuss the modules one by one. I'm going to discuss the strategies. After that, absolutely, we have to practice. Now, what about the general test overview about the PTE exam? Now, the PTE academic exam, which is Pearson Test of English Academic, this is
Yeah.
P, this is
Yes.
T, and this is E. Okay, is an international computer-based English language test. It accurately measures English language ability and can be used to apply to educational institutions and professional and government organizations. The test uses task-based questions or represent the kinds of functions and situations students will find themselves in during academic study. Most real-life tasks in any academic exam setting involve using more than one language skill together. For example, in the PTE exam, we have listening to a lecture or maybe writing notes. The PTE academic reflects this through its 20 task types, each of which tests a combination of skills. I mean, the skills is about reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Absolutely, the four skills in the English language. For example, one task type asks you to demonstrate your understanding of a passage by providing a written summary, while another tests your understanding of a lecture by asking you to retell the lecture. Now, the test is divided into three main parts and lasts for approximately 3 hours, with an optional break of 10 minutes. Now, part one is about speaking and writing. And absolutely, this is from 77 minutes to 93 minutes. Absolutely, it depends on the length of the passages and questions. Part two is about reading. Now, it is from 32 minutes to 41 minutes. The final part, which is three, is about listening, and listening um, should be from 45 minutes to 57 minutes. Now, let's talk about part one, which is speaking and writing. And absolutely, we have to start with this part. Now, in part one, which is speaking and writing, we have 6 sections: section one, section two, section three and four, section five, section six. Now, the task type is personal introduction. This is the first module. Read aloud, repeat sentence, describe an image, retell a lecture, answer short question, summarize written text, or writing an essay. Finally, you have to write an essay. Now, let me give you a description of every task. Now, in personal introduction, after reading the instructions, this is the first module you have to do. You have 30 seconds to give a recorded introduction about yourself. This part is not scored, is not assessed, but it is important because it's going to be sent to the institution or institutions or any institution you are applying for. You choose along with your score report. So now the next module is about reading aloud. Absolutely, Dalia, the first module, which is about personal introduction, you have only 1 minute
1 minute.
to finish answering this module. Now, module two is about read aloud. Now, reading aloud is about a text that is going to be appeared on the screen. You have to read the text aloud. After that, we have repeat a certain sentence. After listening to a sentence, you have to repeat the sentence. 3, we have describing an image. A certain image is going to be appeared on your screen and you have to describe the image in details. Then you have to retell a lecture. After listening to or watching a video about a certain lecture, you have to retell this lecture in your own words. After that, or finally in section 2, we have to answer a short question. After listening to a certain question, you have to answer with a single word or maybe a few words only. All section 2 is about, or let me say, from 30 to 35 minutes. Then we have section 3 and 4, which is summarizing written texts or written text. After reading a passage, I have to write only a one-sentence summary of the passage of between 5 and 75 words. Absolutely, this section is about 20 minutes. Then we have section 5, which is about summarizing written text, or you have to write an essay. Either summarizing a text or maybe a written text, or writing a certain essay. It depends on the combination of tasks in your test. And absolutely, in this section, you have 10 minutes, from 10 to 20 minutes to finish answering this module. Now, the final module, which is section 6 in part 1, which is about speaking and writing, is writing an essay. You have to write a certain essay, and this essay is from 200 to 300 words on a given topic. And absolutely, you have to finish writing this essay in 20 minutes. Okay?
Okay.
So this is about speaking and writing. Now let's talk about part 2, which is reading. Now the modules in reading or part 2 is, or let me say the tasks, number 1, multiple choice, choose single answer, and after reading a certain text, you have to answer a multiple choice question on the content or tone of the text. By selection, only one response. The next task is multiple choice, but you have to choose more than one multiple choice. Again, after reading a certain passage, it is the same of choosing one multiple choice. You have to answer the multiple choice question on the content, again, or tone of the text by selecting more than one multiple choice, exactly. Then the next task is about reordering certain paragraphs. You have to reorder paragraphs. Maybe the order is about chronological order, for example. Several text boxes appear on the screen in a random way or random order. You have to put the text boxes in the correct order. The next task is about filling in the blanks or gaps. Now a text appears on the screen with several blanks or gaps. Now I have to drag words or maybe phrases from the blue box to fill the blanks or the gaps. The final task in part 2, which is reading, is about reading and writing. And again, I have to fill in the blanks. A certain passage or text is going to be appeared on my screen with several blanks. I have to fill the blanks by selecting words from several drop-down lists of response options. Absolutely, we have to discuss everything in details. So this is about reading, which is part 2. Now let's discuss the final part, which is listening. Absolutely all the tasks in part 2, Dahlia, should be finished from 32 minutes to 41 minutes. Now the final part, which is part 3, which is about listening. Now in listening part or part 3, we have 2 sections. Section 1, we have this task, which is summarizing spoken text. After listening to a recording, you have to write a summary of 50 to 70 words. This task is about 20 or 30 minutes. Then you have task 2, which is multiple choice, and I have to choose the multiple choice answers. After listening, because this is listening, absolutely. After listening to a certain recording, I have to answer a multiple choice question on the content or tone of the recording by selecting more than one multiple choice or maybe one response. The next task, we have filling in the gaps. The transcription of a recording appears on the screen with several gaps or blanks. While listening to the recording, type the missing word into the blanks. Now, the next task is about highlighting the correct summary. After listening again, so notice that everything here about listening because part 3 is about listening. So after listening to a certain recording, I have to select the paragraph that best summarizes the recording. The next task is about multiple choice, and I have to choose only one single answer. After listening to a certain recording again, I have to answer a multiple choice question on the content or tone of the recording by selecting only one multiple choice. Now, the next task is about selecting missing word. Again, after listening to a recording, I have to select the missing word or group of words that completes the recording. Then the next task is about highlighting the incorrect words. Absolutely, the transcription of a recording appears on my screen. While listening to the recording, I have to identify the words in the transcription that differ from what is said. Now, the final task in part 3, which is about listening, is writing from dictation. Now, after listening to a certain recording of a sentence, I have to type the sentence. So this is about dictation. Okay, Dalia?
Okay.
So this is it. This is about the general overview of the PTE exam. Now
Okay.
I have to disconnect the meeting and we have to come back again to the meeting because now we have to discuss. Wait. We have to discuss. No, this is not that important. We have to discuss taking the test and we have to discuss the score report. Okay?
Okay.
So now I have to, as I told you, I have to disconnect the meeting because I have to divide the videos and name every video with its correct name. So I'm going to disconnect the meeting. Please come back. I'm waiting for you.